What is up, everybody? I am Joseph, this is JosephsPlace, and welcome to this video where I will be discussing RuneScape on a mobile device. And in case you did not guess, this is the announcement that we have been waiting 7 days for. So we have finally found out what that announcement was, and it was RuneScape and Oldschool Runescape on mobile devices. So in this video, I want to kind of go over the announcement as well as give my own opinions on it. So in general, the announcement's very simple. These two games will be brought to mobile devices, both iOS and Android, in the upcoming months. Oldschool RuneScape will get their app later this year in winter of 2017, which should be in December, and RuneScape should get their app more towards 2018. Of course, that will take longer to develop as there's probably more to the game than Oldschool, but Oldschool should get theirs this year within just a few months. So really, that's all that the announcement entailed. They do have a beta sign up, so if you're interested, there'll be a link in the description. If you haven't signed up already, go ahead and put your email address in there and you'll be signed up to possibly get into the beta to test this out later on this year. Now, they do have a forum post with some frequently asked questions, and they will also be holding a stream where they'll be answering more of those questions. I kind of want to go over a few of them right now, just really briefly, and then we'll get into my opinions. So this app will be free. Some people have asked about the prices. This app will be completely free. Again, both offered on iOS and on Android. There was no mention of Windows phones, so if you have a Windows phone, I apologize, but it doesn't look like it. But again, that may just be an oversight by their marketing team. But as of right now, there's nothing that's been said about Windows phones. Another question I see getting asked a lot is how much data usage will Oldschool RuneScape take? And I can tell you from personal experience, it'll probably be between 15 and 25 megabytes per hour, which even compared to other online games is very low. I had to tether my phone for a few years, and I played RuneScape as well as other games, and in general, they're all under about 60 megabytes per hour, but RuneScape was definitely on the low side, usually between 15 and 25. So while that could add up after a while, unless you're playing RuneScape only on a phone, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. So in a nutshell, that's what we've been waiting 7 days for. So again, if you do want to sign up for your chance to be a part of the beta, go ahead and click on the link in the description and put your email address in there. Now I want to get on to the part of the video where I give my opinions. So I want to start off by saying I am surprised by this update, but I'm not necessarily excited. But that's a completely personal thing. I personally don't think I'll get a lot of use out of a mobile client, as anytime that I want to play, that I have availability to play, I have availability to a computer. I don't think there's any times that I'll be wanting to play when I can't just go on my computer. So personally, I may not get a whole lot of use out of this, but I do see where a lot of people can use this to play maybe a little bit more, and I like the idea of having it on a mobile phone. I think in general, especially Oldschool RuneScape, I have no idea, and I will not comment on RuneScape 3, but in general, Oldschool RuneScape is very simple and can be done by using phone controls, so I see no problem in this. And according to streamers, I think Bodhi and Sicknerd both mentioned it, you will be able to do things such as one-tick prayer flick. So maybe that's not the best example of usability, but it is, in my opinion, a very good example of its responsiveness. It will be able to be used for such minute things such as tick manipulation. You might not be able to do it as effectively, obviously, as with a mouse, but at least as of right now, their app will be able to handle that, which is good to hear that they're actually optimizing it well enough to handle such minute things. So that is really good to hear. I do hope that they continue with that theme. Again, I don't know where they tested that one tick. I don't know if it was in a busy area or if it was just strictly turning the prayer on and off. I don't know how this will work in highly populated areas, if it will have a lag or not, but at least through what they've said in their testing, it's doable. But one big thing that does concern me is the way that Oldschool RuneScape, the dev team, updates their product. As of right now, as far as I know, especially in iOS, I don't think Android is as strict, but for Apple, they have a very strict review process that each update has to go through. And I don't know how major of an update it has to be considered for this review. Maybe it's only if you make a version upgrade, but for things such as hotfixes, this may be an issue. As of right now, the average response time is 3 days for a review on a mobile app, so that could really slow a lot of things down, and I would hate for updates to be held back for a mobile device. especially since for me, it's not something that would affect me. So having that update delayed a little bit because of that would be a little concerning. What I hope tends to happen is that the updates get planned a little better and are finished ahead of time instead of on time, and they're able to submit that and update things on schedule. And I'm sure if that's the restrictions they're working with, that will be the answer, which I will be fine with. But I would say that the update process, the way that it's handled currently, that I've noticed for Oldschool Runescape, the 3-day wait period may be a bit of a problem. But again, that may only be for major version or asset changes. If it's a simple hotfix of things that are already in the game, they may not have this issue, which would be perfectly fine, as there's not a lot of updates, a lot of consistent updates that bring new assets into the game, or I think would require a version update. So that is one of, I guess, my major concerns. Some other people have voiced some concerns about a doorway to microtransactions, and I really don't see that as being an issue for Oldschool Runescape. I think it may be for RuneScape 3, as microtransactions are prevalent in that game, but I don't think it'll be an issue in Oldschool Runescape, because even though the devs don't have complete say, again, the market or the shareholders probably have a bigger voice in terms of microtransactions, but I think everybody who will be making the decisions understands the player base well enough to know that it would not work for Oldschool Runescape. So I don't really see that as being a problem, neither now or in the future. So that I really don't have a concern on. My major concern would be with the updates, both the wait time and delaying or changing updates based on mobile. Now, obviously, I am fully ready to expect a delay, a little bit of a delay, to make sure that the updates work properly on mobile, and that's to be expected. I'm not worried too much about that. It's anything that's above and beyond just a normal testing period, I would be a little concerned with, and a little, I wouldn't say upset, but a little annoyed at if I had to wait 2 or 3 extra days because something wasn't ready for iOS or for Android. But since the game is coded in Java, and Java is a little bit more open in terms of operating systems, I don't see that as being a huge problem, so I'm not too worried about that either. I guess my main concern would just be the wait time based on restrictions by mainly Apple, but Android may have their own set of restrictions that kind of hamper either the update process or just the whole app in general. But we'll see as that goes on. So all in all, a really nice update. Again, personally, not too excited, but I can see where a lot of people will really like this update, and I know it's gotten a lot of positive feedback, and I think it's a great update, just not completely for me, but that's perfectly fine, I think. That is really all I have for this update. If you want to sign up for the beta, again, link is in the description. But I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope the wait was worth it for you. And that being said, since this update or this announcement was not an MMO, it does mean we still have an MMO on the horizon by Jagex. So that is something to look forward to, or to dread, depending on how you look at it. But that is all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.